Welcome to Brain Alpha. You ever have that feeling where you're doing everything right? You're working hard, you're thinking positive, but you're just stuck? Not getting the results you want? It's super frustrating. Well, today we're going to dive into a concept that might just be the missing piece of your puzzle, right? You're putting in all the effort, you're trying all the self-help tricks, but it feels like you're trying to drive with the emergency brake on. What if I told you that unseen force isn't something out there? What if it's actually coming from inside you, from a part of yourself you don't even know is there? And here's why. It turns out that up to 95% of our mind is basically running on autopilot. That's our subconscious. The best way to think about it is like an iceberg. You know that little tip you see sticking out of the water? That's your conscious mind, the part that's making decisions. But the real power, the massive hidden part underneath, that's your subconscious. And believe me, that's what's really steering the ship. So what's hiding down there in that giant submerged part of our minds? Well, say hello to your shadow. This is a concept from the legendary psychologist Carl Jung, and it's basically a collection of all the parts of ourselves we've been taught to push down and hide. You know, society tells us to be polite, successful, never angry, and every little piece of us that doesn't fit into that perfect little box gets shoved into the shadow. So what are we supposed to do with this shadow? A really amazing example actually comes from the manga Naruto. The main character has to face this dark, angry version of himself. But here's the thing. He doesn't try to destroy it. He accepts it. He realizes that this darkness is a part of him, and it's what made him so strong. And that's the whole idea right there. You don't fight your shadow, you integrate it. And this is exactly where a lot of that traditional self-help advice just gets it wrong. It tells you to just think positive, which is kind of like pretending the shadow doesn't exist. But the more you ignore it, the louder it gets, and it starts sabotaging you from behind the scenes. Shadow work is the complete opposite. It's about turning around, looking that hidden part of you in the eye, and bringing it into the fold. That's how you get real, lasting change, not just some temporary feel-good vibe. And this is the absolute key, summed up perfectly by Jung himself. If you don't actually acknowledge what's in your subconscious, your secret beliefs, your fears, your shadow, it will run your life. You'll just think it's bad luck, or fate, or the universe is against you, when really, it's your own unexamined beliefs creating your entire reality. Okay, so how do we actually do this? How do we start making the unconscious conscious? Let's get practical. We are going to walk through a 30-day guide from a coach named Kuwaji, a Boston University grad who completely transformed his life using this exact method. And honestly, it's a pretty simple two-step process. Step 1 is a huge mindset shift. It's maybe the most important part. Before you do a single thing, you have to give yourself permission. Permission to be flawed. Permission to feel anger and jealousy and fear. Permission to be your entire authentic self, not just the polished, perfect version that society wants to see. You're not trying to become someone else. You're just coming back home to who you've always been. All right, time for the real work. On day 1, you're going to grab a journal and answer these 5 questions. Now, those first 2 are especially interesting. Jung believed that we often project our own shadow onto other people. So that thing that drives you absolutely crazy about someone else, it might just be a part of yourself that you've disowned. Be brutally honest here. No one's going to see this but you. Now, for the next 29 days, the practice is super simple. Each day, just think about what triggered the strongest emotional reaction in you. Then, you dig. You ask yourself, why? 5 times to get to the real root of it. For example, why did my boss's comment make me so mad? Because it felt condescending. Okay, well, why did that feel condescending? You just keep going until you hit that core belief. And once you see it, you get a choice. You can consciously rewrite it, or you can just accept it without judgment. So you commit to this for 30 days. You do this deep, sometimes uncomfortable work. What happens? What's the big reward at the end of all this? The payoff is nothing less than unlocking the most authentic, powerful version of yourself. I mean, just look at Kuwaji, the coach who came up with this guide. Back in 2019, he was on the standard track, destined to be a regular employee. But he made a choice to stop playing it safe and start listening to his authentic voice. And within just 4 years of starting this work, he built a business making over $1 million a year. He met his ideal partner, and he created a life that blew his old goals out of the water. That is the power of living in alignment. And here's why that works. True, lasting change follows a very specific order. So many of us get it completely backward. We focus on doing more or having more stuff. But the real secret? It starts with being. When you align with who you truly are, shadow and all, the right actions, the doing, they just start to feel effortless and natural. And when you take those authentic actions, the having just follows. It's almost automatic. This quote really says it all, doesn't it? You can't get to your true desires by pretending to be someone you're not. Real success isn't about chasing something outside of you, it's the natural result of becoming more of yourself. Your authenticity, that's your superpower. So, the journey really begins with a simple choice. A choice to look within, to stop running from the parts of yourself you've hidden away, and to finally see the power they've been holding all along. The most important conversation you'll ever have is the one with your shadow. So, my question to you is, what truth about yourself will you unlock first? Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe to the channel, give us a thumbs up, and help us build the hype. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.